This racework stuff is really awesome to work with, but it's almost too nice for this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I was meant to do a full episode on Lemon for you, but have had some complications with the crown. It was involved in an accident. Ouch. Very ouch. I'm especially annoyed because the grill I repaired a couple videos ago is now broken. Like, to be honest though, it actually held up really well. Like, all the resin's still in there with the stud mounted here. But the other studs are fine. So, quick glance, it doesn't look too bad. Looking at the other strut tower, it looks like this one's slightly moved. It's hard to tell, but until we get it assessed and take it to a panel beater, there's not much we can do. It's just gotta sit here, I guess. As we were going through an intersection, Falcon driver was turning right and just cut us off. My wife didn't even have time to brake, and it's especially annoying because the day it happened was the day after we changed the solenoid and replaced the bearing on the idler pulley down there. So like all that effort, go for a spin to Murray Bridge and Strathalbyn, and then when we get home, like 2 corners from home, this happened. So my wife's not happy that her pride and joy got written off because an old guy in a Falcon cut her off. So hopefully Shannon's can help us with this. Personally, I think because it's an import, they're not gonna help. And I reckon that they're just gonna see the damage and the bend through here and just be like, nah, it's too much work. It's gonna be too much work sourcing a bonnet, guard, passenger door, bumper, headlight, everything. They're just gonna see it. They're gonna deem it too much work because it's an import, and it's 20 years old. So I reckon they'll just write it off. Look, either way, it's insured for 18k, so we're either gonna fix it, or unfortunately, hopefully we don't have to, but we might end up wrecking it. But wrecking it's going to be a last minute thing, because I haven't even had an opportunity to do a video on this thing for you lot yet, and this happened. We've literally had it on the road for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. And the annoying thing is, we had a Kia Cerato from NooB since 2014, and we wanted that fucking thing written off. Ended up managing to sell it after a while, and then of course Rhonda over there, daily drive that. No one pulls out in front of you or does stupid shit, but the moment you get your import on the road that you waited like 6 months for, 10 weeks later, 10 weeks of enjoying it, and it gets freaking written off. Right after we did the major service as well. We got the major service done, and as I mentioned, the solenoid and the bearing that we did ourselves. Like, it's really disheartening. But this is why I haven't felt like doing a big video anyway. Now, we are still waiting for the insurance company to get back to us, which hopefully is sometime this week, but in our experience, Shannon's have been really shit. They barely helped us when this had an accident. It took them forever to actually get round to assessing it and sending the money through to us. So we're assuming we're going to get the same stuff around with the crown. I was meant to do a full update video on Lemon, but that sort of detracted from my my want to do it. But I figure I should probably do an update video so you know I'm not dead or something. And so I am going to show you the progress that I have achieved on Lemon, because my wife actually helped me a couple weeks ago. She came out in the shed, helped me get motivated to work on Lemon, which I'm super grateful for, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have gotten past the tedious point of doing like coolant lines, oil lines and shit like that. But anyway, I'll show you what's been done so far. So the airbox thing has been just painted in a shitty matte black color. That's bolted in, ready to go. I just need a pod filter to bolt to it. The AFM wiring was relocated from the other side, which my wife actually did all of that. She extended the whole lot herself. And the battery wiring has been sort of semi-relocated. So all I did was shorten the starter motor wiring to here, and then everything else that used to run to the positive over here is actually in a little box down there now. And that little box is actually from a YR22 Tarago. If anybody ever wants anything like that, just go to a wrecking yard and get one. You can bolt all your positives to that, and then you don't have a million positive cables hanging off of this. So it looks a little bit neater. Ignore this. This isn't in yet. This is just sitting here. I still need to finish that off. What else? The coil and igniter have been semi-relocated. They were always in this spot, but they were really dodgily bolted in because, I don't know, I was really lazy. But they're actually in there pretty solid now. They're not gonna go anywhere. I did the alternator bracket down here, which I don't know if you can see that, but that's the original bracket, and that's another bracket I just welded on. It's ugly as fuck, but it does the job. All I did back here was put a washer behind it. That was the same thickness of that bracket to offset that. So that's all good. I just need a belt for it. This is the coolant feed. Sorry, I had to think then for a second. That is coolant feed straight into the turbo. Let me move this aircon line out of the way. Okay, so that's the coolant feed straight into the turbo there. The coolant return is going to run out into the radiator, and what I've got for that, shit, where have I put it? Ah, here we go. This Duvalaki, this contraption, actually bolts directly into the radiator, right where that bung is. Thanks Toyota, that was very useful keeping that right there. I have no idea why Toyota had that at the top. I've not seen it on any other Toyota radiator, like maybe for bleeding or something, I don't know. But this goes straight into that, and then I can run the return straight into the top tank of the radiator, which is very good. The only other line I haven't done, I might just leave that there. Shit, I'm tripping over things. The only other line I haven't done is the oil return, but I'll worry about that later because I have to get under the car. And my jack actually died, so now I don't have a way of lifting up the cars, which is really shit. And because I have no job and I slowed the business down, I have no freaking money to buy a new jack. But anyway, the oil feed, there is no freaking way you're gonna see that, and there's no way I'm gonna go get a torch and crawl under the car to show you. But it's a T-piece coming off of the oil sender down there, which is literally just the exact same thing as this, except not shagged, because the thread on this one's stuffed. I went and bought a brand new one. So it's one of these. The sensor comes off of here, and then the T-piece just has some AN fittings. And that runs underneath on the cross member there. I don't even know if you can see that shit. But yep, that runs up under the motor and on the cross member, and then just straight into the turbo. What else? I feel like I did a lot more. I feel like I achieved more, but now that I'm listing it, it's like I haven't done that much. Oh, no, bolting the turbo itself on, yeah. So I had to relocate a bunch of studs for that. I had to relocate these ones from the hole up here down to here, and I had to put 2 more in the center there. So that was that sorted, and then I had to do the gaskets and everything for the turbo bolted to the adapter I made and then bolted to the manifold. So everything is bolted together, hopefully for good, and sealed up with an exhaust silicone just to make sure there's no leaks, because I don't really want to go undoing this shit. It's heavy and I'm weak as fuck now. Intake side of things I'm not sure how to do just yet, but I'm thinking that piece goes on there, and then I can run a pipe along the front here to the intercooler at the front, and then just straight out and up into the intake. That's going to be way more fiddly than I would like it to be. So that's a later thing as well. And then of course the dump pipe, which I have one sitting there, but I have no idea if it's actually going to fit. I need to try test fit it when I get another jack. But until then, there's not much I can do. If it doesn't fit, I'm going to have to get a flange. Hopefully the local exhaust place will be happy to make me up an exhaust for that. I don't know, flash them some titties or something. So yeah, that's, I think, the update for Lemon. That's it. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. God, it really, now that I've made a video on it, I've started talking about it, it really doesn't sound like I've done much. But trust me, this was decent progress, all right? Like, I mean, I had no motivation for like 4 weeks, okay? And then my wife kicked me in the ass and told me to get it done, so I got a lot done. The main issue, again, is money, like the jack issue. So getting these things done, I'm not gonna be able to do for a while until I have the money. Therefore, the next update on Lemon probably won't be for a while, unless it's just smaller fiddly shit. So there you go, you've got the good news and the bad news. So I think that'll do for this little update. I'll see you in the next episode. There was something else I had to talk about. For the life of me, I can't remember. Probably wasn't important.